One of the easiest traps to fall into is believing you're never quite there, that there's always something wrong with you, something missing, something to fix. So you analyze yourself, you hunt for hidden flaws, you collect spiritual practices like trophies, hoping that enough shadow work, enough chakra clearing, enough healing modalities will finally make you more spiritual. But here's the problem. The fixer and the being fixed are both illusions. What if the search itself is a mental block? What if you're already what you're looking for? Before we continue, if you're ready to break free from the repeating patterns that hold you back, check out my free guide, 5 inner blocks that keep you from deep spiritual growth. The link is waiting for you in the top comment below. One of the easiest traps to fall into is perfectionism, disguised as spiritual growth. You think awakening means becoming flawless, so you perform spirituality instead of living it. You meditate to prove you evolved. You do shadow work to show how deep you go. You speak in spiritual concepts to demonstrate your level of consciousness. This isn't growth, this is performance, and performance becomes a prison. The mind loves making awakening into an achievement. It says, once I heal this pattern, then I'll be free. Once I integrate this shadow aspect, then I'll be whole. Once I clear this chakra, then I will be spiritual enough. But spiritual enough for what? And for whom? Another common block is getting stuck in what I call shadow work overload. You become an archaeologist of your own pain, constantly digging up trauma to analyze it. You turn your wounds into your identity. I'm a trauma survivor. I'm healing my inner child. I'm working through my abandonment issues. But here's what happens. You start living inside the wound instead of recognizing that you are the space in which the wound appears. The wound becomes your story, your purpose, your reason for being. You get so comfortable being broken that healing becomes threatening to your sense of self. The ego is clever. It will even use spiritual concepts to avoid being present. This is spiritual bypassing, using meditation, positive thinking, or love and light language to skip over difficult emotions. You say things like, I'm releasing this to the universe, or everything happens for a reason. When what you really need is to feel what's here without trying to fix it. But the most subtle trap is trauma identity. You collect your wounds like credentials. I've been through narcissistic abuse. I have complex PTSD. I'm codependent. These may be accurate descriptions of experiences, but when they become your primary identity, you're still living in the past. You're still making your history more real than your presence. The mind wants to make everything into a project. It says, if I just do enough inner work, if I just heal enough patterns, if I just become conscious enough, then I'll finally be okay. But this creates an endless loop. There's always another layer to heal, another shadow to integrate, another trauma to process. What if there's nothing to fix? What if your so-called flaws are not bugs in the system but features? What if your sensitivity isn't a wound to heal but a gift to embrace? What if your intensity isn't a problem to solve, but a power to channel? Real growth happens through subtraction, not addition. It's not about becoming more spiritual. It's about dropping what's not real. It's not about fixing your personality. It's about recognizing that you are not your personality. You were never broken. You were just convinced you were. The difference between healing wounds and performing healing is presence. When you're truly present with pain, it transforms naturally. When you're performing healing, you're still resisting what's here. But here's the cosmic joke. The seeker and the sought are the same. You're not a person trying to become spiritual. You are spirit temporarily playing at being a person. The awareness that notices your thoughts is already awake. The consciousness that observes your emotions is already free. What remains when you stop trying to become someone else? What's here when you stop the endless project of self-improvement? You are. Just you. Not the improved version, not the healed version, not the awakened version. Just the you that's always been here, watching the whole show. You are not a project to complete. You are not a problem to solve. You are not broken and in need of repair. You are awareness itself, temporarily focused through the lens of a human nervous system. You are the space in which thoughts appear and disappear. You are the stillness in which emotions arise and dissolve. You are the presence that remains constant while everything else changes. But the mind resists this simplicity. It says, that can't be it. That's too easy. I need to do more, become more, achieve more. The mind loves complexity because complexity keeps it in business. It loves problems because problems give it purpose. Real growth happens when you stop adding layers and start removing them. It's like a sculpture walking with marble. Michelangelo didn't add anything to the stone to create David. He removed everything that wasn't David. The masterpiece was already there, hidden under the excess. This is what you're doing with spiritual growth. You're not becoming something new. You're revealing what was always there. You're not fixing yourself. You're uncovering yourself. Every spiritual practice, every moment of self-inquiry, every experience of suffering is chiseling away what's false. Your anxiety isn't a flaw to eliminate. It's showing you where you're not being authentic. Your anger isn't a problem to solve. It's pointing to where your boundaries have been crossed. Your sadness isn't a wound to heal. It's the heart's natural response to loss. When you stop trying to fix these experiences and start recognizing them as guidance, everything shifts. You stop being at war with yourself. You stop making your humanity into a spiritual emergency. The recognition that you're already what you seek doesn't make you passive. It makes you powerful. When you're not constantly trying to become someone else, all the energy becomes available for creative expression. When you're not fighting your own nature, you can work with it. You don't need to transcend your personality. You need to recognize that you're not limited by it. You don't need to eliminate your emotions. You need to see that you are the space in which they appear. You don't need to fix your past. You need to realize that the past only exists as thoughts in the present moment. This awareness doesn't come from more spiritual practices. It comes from recognizing what's already here. It's not hidden in some future moment when you've done enough work. It's available right now, in this breath, in this heartbeat, in this simple fact of being aware. The cosmic joke is that what you've been seeking through years of spiritual work is what's been seeking through you all along. Consciousness is not something you attain. Consciousness is what you are. Peace is not something you achieve. Peace is your natural state when you stop disturbing it with the need to be different. You are already the awareness you seek. You are already the love you long for. You are already the freedom you think you need to earn. Not as a concept to understand, but as the living reality of what's hearing these words right now. What you actually are is so simple that the mind dismisses it, so ordinary that it seems impossible, so present that you overlook it while searching for something more special, more spiritual, more evolved. But what if ordinary is extraordinary? What if simple is profound? What if what you're right now, without any improvement or enhancement, is already the miracle you've been seeking? Before we wrap up, if you found this helpful and want to go deeper, remember that free download I mentioned, 5 inner blocks that keep you from deep spiritual growth. The link is waiting for you in the top comment below. You are not a project to complete. Your life expressing itself as you. The invitation is simple. Stop trying to become what you already are. The next time you catch yourself in the fixing trap, pause. Feel what's here without needing to change it. This is where real transformation happens. Not through effort, but through recognition. You were never broken. You just forgot who you are.